Hey, it is harvest time. What are we doing with all that produce that we're bringing in from the garden? We don't want to heat up our kitchens right now. It's so hot outside. So let's figure out a way to put up some of this stuff really quick and easy without heating up our kitchen. I'm going to give you three ideas right now, all three different methods. So the first one is I brought in some tomatoes and I couldn't get to them all, and I just needed to get some put away so that I can make sauces or whatever it is later. What I did with the tomatoes is I went ahead and froze them. So I boiled a pot of water. I cleaned the tomatoes. I dropped them in for a minute, 1 minute, which is called blanching. I blanched the tomatoes. I pulled them out with a slotted spoon. I put them over in the sink in a strainer, and I rinsed them off with some cool water so I could handle them. And then I just go ahead and grab them, and literally the skin will just slide right off. So I slid the skin off, and then I cut off the stems and any hard core of the tomatoes, and then I sliced them in halves and quarters depending on their size, and threw them in these little vacuum bags, and then did some vacuum sealing. So that was definitely one way of putting them up. And then later I can put those in the fridge now, and they can be good for up to 6 months. And then later I can pull them out to make tomato sauce, pizza sauce, whatever it is, if I want to add them to anything that I happen to be cooking. But the one thing I want to encourage you is, if you want a vacuum sealer and you don't have one, don't worry about going straight to Amazon and getting yourself a vacuum sealer. Look around. Let's go to yard sales. Let's go to Facebook Marketplace, to our family and our friends, and ask them, hey, do you have an old vacuum sealer that maybe you don't use? And buy it off of them. $10. I bet you can buy them all day long at a yard sale for $10 or less. I just picked up a bread maker the other day for $2. Do I make things in a bread maker? Not very often. But when I'm in a hurry and in a pinch, I'm going to throw something in there and just let it do its thing so I don't have to worry about kneading and all that stuff. My mom had a bread maker. I loved it. It's very nostalgic for me. So I love that idea. But for $2, I picked up an automatic bread maker. So look for these at yard sales. This is mine. This is a food saver. I bought it 22 years ago, probably, from Costco. You can still order the food saver bags on Amazon. So if you see one of these, don't worry about getting the latest and greatest. Don't spend 60 or 100 and 120 bucks on Amazon getting you the latest and greatest. Pick them up at a yard sale. Keep your eyes open for things like this. And dehydrators. I bought one for $10 from my friend like 4 years ago, and I just dehydrated peppers already this year. And so look for stuff at yard sales. Okay, so now that we got that figured out, then the next thing is going to be these cayenne peppers. We brought those in, and we literally just grabbed thread and a needle from my sewing kit, and we went ahead and just threaded them up just like popcorn. And I'm going to hang them right here for about 3 or 4 weeks, and they're going to dry out. I'm going to check them and rotate them and make sure that they're drying out evenly and they're not getting too much sun or whatever. And then when they do dry out, I'm going to take them, I'm going to cut the stems off, and then I'm going to put them in like my Ninja or my, which I got for free from a friend that was just cleaning out her pantry, or my Magic Bullet. I'm going to grind them up, and then I'm going to use it as a cayenne pepper powder, and I'm going to refill my jar in my pantry. So that's what I'm going to do with all these cayenne peppers. The last thing that I did today without heating up my kitchen was I took all of my habanero peppers and I just pickled them. So I brought in all the habaneros, I cleaned them real good, cut the tops off, took a lot of the seeds out, and put them in this little jar. And then I went over to the stove with my pot, and I did a 1 cup of white vinegar, 5% acidity is what I used. And then I did a 1/2 cup of just regular white sugar, and a tablespoon of minced garlic, and a tablespoon of pickling salt. You could probably use regular salt. And then I also added a teaspoon of mustard seed. I boiled that for about 4 minutes. The recipe kind of says 3 to 5 minutes. I felt like I was boiling down a little bit too fast, and I didn't want to boil most of my vinegar out. So I stopped at 4. And then I let it cool just a smidge so that I could pour it into my cold glass. I poured it right on top of there, filled it up close to the top, and then I put a lid on it. And I'm going to put it in the fridge. And every day, I'm going to pop it out, and I'm just going to flip it upside down. And in about 3 days, it should be pickled enough for me to be able to use it to top tacos, burritos, enchiladas, nachos, or even add it to like my roast, give it a little kick. Whatever it is that I want to do with this. And it'll keep for a month or so, just like this in the fridge. Now, one little thing is this little white cap. Do you see that? I got these at Walmart. I want to say there were 6 or 12 of them in a little baggie for under $5. Super inexpensive, but if you don't have these, don't go get them. The reason why I have these is because the vinegar in here will be corrosive to the metal lids that you'd normally use on a mason jar. So we want to stop that corrosion. One way to do it is to use a plastic lid. The second way to do it is to just take some simple little plastic wrap and put it over your jar and then screw that lid on there. And that makes like a gasket that prevents that vinegar from touching the metal, and then you don't corrode. So there you go, super easy and super cheap. So there's 3 things that you can do. We vacuum sealed and froze the tomatoes. We pickled some habaneros, and we hung up our cayennes, and we're gonna dry those and make cayenne pepper powder for our pantry. And then we're also going to keep an eye out for food savers, dehydrators. We're going to look out for all those things at yard sales, and we're going to pick them up as we see them. If you can pick up some mason jars, then do that as well also. Just make sure that the rim, like when you grab a jar, just make sure there's no chips. And then check to see that there's no cracks anywhere. If they're really, really old, they may have been canned in a lot of times and may not have much life left. But if you can tell that they're reasonably new and there's no chips and no cracks, pick them up. If you can pick them up for 10, 25 cents a piece, you're doing good. Yeah, so let's build up our little arsenal of kitchen goodies and things to be more self-sufficient and to be able to put up our own garden and take care of all the things that we need to take care of to make a life that we love. And please like and subscribe, do all those things that they say to do so that my channel can grow. I am so looking forward to sharing with you all the things that we have going on here and teaching you the things that I didn't learn when I was growing up. So I've learned quite a bit, and I'm learning continually, and I absolutely love sharing it with you. So have a great day, and God bless you.